Can you kind of give us a quick look back on how training camp went?
I thought camp was good. I thought the guys worked hard. I thought there was a good, consistent work ethic to what they were doing. Good energy. And we got a lot of guys who've played for us. We got some young guys, obviously, but the experience that we have coming back, I think we have some good leadership, and that translated to good energy and some really good practices.
Injuries were a big topic last year. Have you seen kind of that experience that some of the young guys got last year forced? Has that been a benefit this year this far?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's paid off in the long run in terms of guys who we're counting on playing right now. Got a lot of really valuable reps. I'll use a guy like J.K. Britt as an example. If Donnie Miles doesn't go down midway through the season, J.K. may not have gotten the reps he got. That brought him back to a place where he's very confident in what he's doing and obviously has a lot more experience. And there's a lot of guys across the board that you could speak that way about. But I think in the long run, even though we took our lumps at the time, it will pay off as we go forward.
Jonathan Smith said that when he was first thrust into action last year after Andre got hurt, that he was way behind. Admittedly, he said maybe he wasn't focused enough in meetings and preparing each week.
Sure.
And he learned a lot about that during the course of the season. He now says he's completely up to snuff. Cole said last week Jonathan could teach the defense. Is he at that point now where he's ready to do those things?
He's getting close. I mean, I think it was a great lesson for a lot of young guys. When you're in that second group role, you got to prepare yourself like you're the guy. You're one play away from going in the game, and when your number gets called, you got to be prepared. And I think it's easy at times for young guys to be complacent and think, well, I'm a backup and I have time to learn it. But then all of a sudden, like you get thrust into the lineup. Everyone's counting on you to do your job, and I think Jonathan's really made a ton of strides over this past season.
Aside from he and Cole, there's a lot of inexperience in that position group. How has that group unilaterally come along this month?
Well, the two guys that have really stepped up, Dominic Ross has played well, started to really play well at the end of last season and got to play some at the very end, and then Jeremiah Gemmel had a really good fall camp. So I'm pleased with both those guys.
How have you evolved as a coach and coordinator since getting the job, I guess, 2 years ago?
Well, last year, a lot of what we were doing was trying to keep things very similar for the guys and trying to get a feel with the new staff and a pretty young group of just laying the foundation of what we're doing. And you got to continue to evolve, I think, as a coach. I think there's always ways that you can improve, whether it's your technique teaching or your scheme, and I hope every year that we evolve and we grow and we learn, and I think that's what makes this profession challenging, and what makes it fun.
So what particular ways do you think you evolve in more?
Well, I think schematically, we're going to be more diverse this year. I think my weekly organization, my weekly preparation, has gotten better. I just think the whole thing. I mean, I take pretty meticulous notes on everything that I think I did well or didn't do well, and try to find ways to improve it, and that's every day in every way. So I hope everything's evolved and gotten better.
Somebody on your defense we should watch out for?
We got several guys that I think have opportunities to have really good years. I think Jason Strobridge would be the first one that comes to mind. I could see the talent in him a year ago, but he was really going through his first year playing inside. I think this year, now that he has a year under his belt, he could have a really good year for us.
Last year was Cal's first year, obviously, under Wilcox and Baldwin. How did you see that offense kind of develop over the course of the season?
Yeah, last year was, it's always tough getting ready for an opener anyway, but it's certainly more tough when it's a new staff. So a year ago, we did a lot of our preparation based off of Baldwin's experience at Eastern Washington. This year, obviously, we have a whole year of film on them. So their offense kind of evolved over the course of the year. It still has some of the core tenets they had when they played us in the opener, but I thought they did a really nice job finding ways to get balls in their playmakers' hands, and I think he does a good job all the way around.
Larry said some positive things about Jaleel Taylor yesterday about the kind of camp he had this month. Did he progress to the point where you guys feel comfortable if you have to use him 15, 20 snaps better you can?
Yeah, I'd imagine that Jaleel will play, and yeah, I do feel comfortable about it. Very rarely do you see a true freshman D tackle who's ready to play. He came in the first term of summer session as opposed to the second. I think that helped him. But he's a hardworking young man. He's smart. He gets the defense. And with AC, going down, it's going to thrust him into a role where he's going to have to play some. And we'll see on Saturday how much that truly is. But he probably will play.
How much has Zach Gill developed in the last year, and is he kind of ready for snaps as well?
He's made great strides. He's still going to be in a secondary role for us, but he's a lot better and really worked hard over the past year to be in a position where I think he could go on the field and help us.
Has Jalen Dalton been full go last week or so? I know he was out a little bit.
Yeah, Jalen, it's been a slow process with him, and we're taking it day by day, but Jalen's making pretty good strides as we're getting closer to game time, and we'll kind of leave it there.
Do you know how long AC will be down now?
I'll let Coach Fedora handle all the time frames on all those injuries.
What challenges does Ross Bowers pose as a quarterback?
I think he's smart. I think he knows where to go with the ball. I think he as the season went on, I think he cut he cut down on some interceptions and some throws that maybe he would have liked to have back. I think he makes all the throws. I think he knows where to go with the ball. I think he manages the game real well. I think he's a very solid player in that system.
Do you have any season-long or goals or expectations for your defense?
You know what? I would say the season-long expectations, we get better every week. I hope we're a better football team in November than we are in September, and that's the number one goal.
Going back to Strawbridge, how have you seen him kind of handle playing that extra weight that he has?
Yeah, he looks great. You wouldn't notice anything. He's put on 20 pounds, and he's still moving really well and doing some really good things. So I'm excited about it.